Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, we are going to share with you guys about Syeikh Daud Al-Fatani. So in this topic, we will share about the first one is biography and education background. Second one is contribution in writing. The third one is contribution in education. Fourth one is contribution to society, and the last one is writing method of Syeikh Daud Al-Fatani in Furu' Masail. So let me move to the first part, which is biography and education background. My name is Anis Alia Matruzi and I'm the first presenter of this book. So let me move to introduction first. Syeikh Daud bin Abdullah Al-Fatani was a well-known Malay scholar which is succeed in developing Islamic monuments in Nusantara. He also a well-known and highly productive Patani scholar, as he was producing much of the books and often regarded as a pioneer of writing Islamic sciences in line with Patani's development as a center of learning Malay literature and civilization that characterized Islam in Nusantara. Since childhood, he has been observed to have a great academic potential to be a highly successful learner. Subsequently, he became a teacher, or we call as an educator, a translator, and finally a writer, until he became the most reputable scholars in Southeast Asia. Right. So let me move to his biography, and I will brief in short detail about him. His full name is Syeikh Wan Daud bin Syeikh Wan Abdullah bin Syeikh Wan Idris, or some people call Syeikh Wan Seni bin Tok Wan Abu Bakar bin Tok Kaya Pandak bin Andi Faqih Ali Datuk Maharaja Lela. Based on sources that I found, the descendants of his mother and his father mixed with Andi Faqih names. So, meaning that his parents come in one big family. And the best part is the lineage descends from Faqih Ali is believed to be linking with the lineage of Syeikh Daud with our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right. So he was born on 1133 Hijrah in Kampung Krisik, Fatani, which is Kampung Krisik, also known as capital of Islamic government in Fatani at that time. Okay, basically there is a lot of opinion about the place of his birth, but I put here Kampung Krisik based on the fact from Tok Klaba on his poem. He said that Fatani yang masyhur muallifnya, negeri itu Krisik yang hampir sungainya. So that's why I put here Kampung Krisik as his place of birth. Okay. Next, he was the first child among 5 siblings. Okay, 4 boys and a girl. The first one, of course, Syeikh Daud Al-Fatani. The second one is Syeikh Wan Abdul Qadir. Third one, Syeikh Wan Abdul Rashid. Fourth one is Syeikh Wan Idris. And last one is Siti Khadijah. Syeikh Daud Al-Fatani was died and buried in Taif, which is his grave next to the grave of Sayyidina Abdullah bin Abbas, who is cousin of our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Actually, the year of his death is not known, but some of people think he died around 1847 Masihi, and some says 1265 Masihi. So let me move to the title of Syeikh Daud Al-Fatani. There is a lot of title people call him. The first one is Sheikh. Sheikh is referring to his contribution in the fields of religion and science. That's why people call him as a Sheikh. Second one is the highest title, which is Al-Alim, Al-Allamah, Al-Arif, Al-Rabbani. This is the highest title for Syeikh Daud Al-Fatani because he have the highest knowledge of religion. So that's why people call him as Al-Alim, Al-Allamah, Al-Arif, Al-Rabbani. Next, the third one is Syeikh Daud Wali Allah or Syeikh Daud Karamah. And the last one is Syeikh Daud Pengarang Kitab. Okay, so let's move to his education background. Syeikh Daud learned his early education from his family for a short time, which is 5 years in his homeland. So at that time, his teacher was his father, who is Sheikh Wan Abdullah, and also his grandfather Sheikh Wan Idris and his uncle Sheikh Safiyuddin. He also studied with one of the scholars at that time, which is Sheikh Abdurrahman Pauh Al-Fatani. After 5 years, he learned basic of Islamic knowledge in homeland. He continued his study in Aceh for 2 years. At that time, his teacher is Sheikh Muhammad Zain. Next, he continued study in Mecca for 30 years, and lastly, he continued study in Medina for 5 years. This is the journey of Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani, which is he go to every place to gain more knowledge until he become the famous scholars at that time. So I think that's all from me. Let's proceed with the next presenter about contribution in writing. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to my lecturer and my fellow friend. I'm Nikno Fatinda binti Sulaiman. Today I would like to present about Sheikh Daud Fatani contribution in writing. Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani authors books in various fields covering almost all branches of the Islamic science, such as fiqh, ibadah, theology, sufism, daily life, indicator of Muslim's duty to fellow Muslim and non-Muslim, fiqh in general, and the teaching of prayers, business, fara'id, and marriage and divorce. His first work was in Mecca in the year 1224 after Hijri, while his last work was in 1258 after Hijri. There were many books from his writing in the different fields of writing, which is Aqidah, Ibadah, Fiqh, and so on. But I will explain a few from his book regarding the different fields, which is Fiqh, Aqidah, and Ibadah. Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani is a writer, and he also a translator from his teachers and the other. Firstly, regarding the field of fiqh, the Kitab of Bughah Al-Kullab Lil-Murud Ma'rifah As-Sawab. This book was written to explain the content of Al-Sirat Al-Mustaqim and the works of Sheikh Nuruddin Al-Nariri and Sabil Al-Muhtadi, and as well as the work of Sheikh Muhammad Arshad Al-Banjari. The three books comprise the biggest fiqh book of Ibadah and the most complete in the Malay world. The introduction of this book stated many hadiths about the advantage of the knowledge and a brief history of Imam Shafi'i. Secondly, the book of Fatu Al-Manan li Safwah Al-Zubayd. This book was written in 1249 after Hijri, and it was printed by Matba'ah Al-Miriyah Al-Kainah Makkah in 1330 after Hijri through the effort of Sheikh Abdullah Daud and Sheikh Muhammad Nur Daud. The Sheikh Abdullah and Sheikh Muhammad Nur Daud, both of them is the son of the Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani. This book is the only other complete book of fiqh rubu', chapters and class beside Furu' Al-Masail. This kitab Furu' Al-Masail will be presented by my friend after this, and also the book of Fatu Al-Manan, it was used as reference for the government Sambas and Mempayah. Okay, I will proceed to the next field of writing of the Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani, which is Aqidah. Firstly, Al-Bahjah As-Saniyah, Al-Aqaid As-Saniyah, or also we call Tahsin Al-Nail Al-Maram Shaykh Aqidah Al-Awam. This book is a translation and lecturer from his teacher's book, Sheikh Ahmad Al-Mazuki. Sheikh Ahmad Al-Mazuki asked the Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani to translate this book to the Malay language. The contents of this book is about Tawheed. This is an original dictation by him to Sheikh Shihab ad-Din bin Sheikh Muhammad Arshad al-Banjari. Sheikh Shihab ad-Din recorded from dictation in Arabic and named as Aqidah al-Awwal. Next, the books of Sunamu al-Muqtadi bi Ma'rifah Tariqat al-Muqtadi. This book was written in 1252 after Hijri, and it is the first Malay and Jawi book which has written in the description. This book was described by his maternal great grandchildren who called Sheikh Muhammad Nur al-Fatani, who is a scholar and judge of Mecca. Next, the field of writing is ibadah. Firstly, Kaifiyah Solat At-Tarawih, which this book is discuss about Tarawih prayer. And secondly, Buluh Al-Maram pada bicara Kaifiyah Muqaranah Takbiratu Al-Ihram, which this book is a special writing which discuss Takbiratu Al-Ihram, which is the purpose of starting the valid prayer according to the Shafi'i. And next, the Nubha will Bayan Shuru al-Jumu'ah. This book is discussed about Jumu'ah prayer. Proceed to the percentage of contribution of Sheikh Daud by the field. We can from this graph, it shows that the Sheikh Daud al-Fatani has contributed a great rating in Islamic jurisprudence with the fiqh. Regarding from this, we can see that 16 books from the books of fiqh is regarding the 30% of this field is from the field of fiqh. That's all for me, and I will pass to my friend. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Awatif binti Muhammad Arshad. I will continue with his contribution in education. As we know, Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani was a great scholar in Malay archipelago. During his life, he was given an honor to be one of the educators that was trained to give lectures in Masjidil Haram Mecca. He also teach at other places if it is necessary. Even though he was busy with his writing work, he was willing to give the lectures in various fields of Islamic education such as fiqh, akidah and tasawwuf. His lectures were regularly attended by various students including pilgrims from all over the world. He built a huge Wakaf family's house at his hometown, which is Kampung Kerisik, Fatani. This house is functioned as a place for him to teach and also open for the family. Most of his students, which is more than 20 people, became the great scholars and leading figures. Some of them are Sheikh Muhammad Saleh bin Murid Al-Rawa. He was a writer of a great book named Fathul Mubin. This book is a commentary on the book of Hadis 40 by Imam Al-Nawawi in Malay language. And Raja Ali Haji Riau, he was famous in Malay history. In addition, Sheikh Daud has introduced several general principles of education. Firstly, he thinks that an educator must study first before teaching. Sheikh Daud learned from many great teachers, places whether in Islamic field or other sciences. The term studied or in Bahasa, berguru to be a knowledgeable person has been practiced by Sheikh Daud without any hesitation. Secondly, teacher as an icon or a role model. Sheikh Daud said that it was important for a teacher to have a strong understanding about what he has learned so that a credible student can be produced. He also said that an educator has to give a good example to the students. In terms of they have to do what they have said. His philosophy of education is the sign of Fardu Ain must be learned in order to validate someone's belief and worship. He founded the philosophy of core education. Axiology or value in learning is to learn in many fields as all knowledge is intertwined with one another and to become a competent scholar. Learning can also take place from people younger than their age. The role of the family and the family itself is very important in providing a child early education. This kind of thinking has grown to this day, emphasizing that home education is very important, especially in the construction of personalities. Besides that, Sheikh Daud state that memorizing was important in education as a basic level of learning. Then he argued that the position of revealed knowledge is higher than the relative human science. The concept of teaching is that teachers are also students who need to learn from their students. He also emphasized the two stages of learning, which are a principle or theory and the most important is practice or policy. Toko guru is a concept based on how many students have learned from them and continue their legacy in spreading the knowledge. And Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani is a great figure not only nationally, which is in Fatani, but also internationally in Kelantan and Mecca Al-Mukarramah. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Farhana and I will be presenting about Sheikh Daud Fatani's contributions to society. Okay, to begin, it cannot be denied that all Fatani scholars contributed a lot towards the Fatani community, and the most prominent among them is Sheikh Daud al-Fatani, which is the scholar that we are discussing now. So, a succession of Fatani scholars shows a strong linkage between Fatani and the Haramain, which is Mecca and Medina. So, as we know that Sheikh al-Fatani and many other Patani scholars were studying in Haramain. So, when they returned to Patani, they accumulate their knowledge and develop them into a unique style of religious instruction in Southern Asia. So later on, a religious education called halaqah was formed where the method gradually became dominant and finally developed into a new form of religious education known as pondok in Patani. Alright, so although Sheikh Daud al-Fatani was not the first person from Patani to have reached Haramain, but he was the first to achieve great renown. And this is because Sheikh Daud al-Fatani was the first individual from the Malay Peninsula to be the volunteer who served for the pilgrims. And only after that, other Patani scholars also become volunteers who serve for the pilgrims. So the scholars who were responsible of the pilgrimage matters or Hajj matters were known as Sheikh Haji Melayu. So the position of Sheikh Haji Melayu was very significant and usually filled by those considered to be highly accomplished in Islamic knowledge and who were based in Mecca, which is who study in Mecca. So during that time, Sheikh Daud al-Fatani was appointed as the leader of Sheikh Haji Melayu. So we can say that he played a very important role in terms of serving the pilgrims, especially those who are coming from the archipelago. So his services include familiarizing the pilgrims with Hajj procedures, and he also introducing them to important places relating to Hajj. And next, he organizing accommodation and also ensure the safety of all pilgrims and various other services. So, Sheikh Daud al-Fatani bought a house in Medina for the use of pilgrims from Malay Peninsula. So during that time, his house became a center for Hajj pilgrims under his supervision, which is in 1824. And Sheikh Daud al-Fatani during that time was assisted by his relative named Sheikh Wan Musa, who became the Sheikh Haji Melayu after his death. Yeah. So, Sheikh Daud al-Fatani not only involved in a range of activities that deepened the relation between Fatani and Haramain, which is Mecca and Medina, but he also encouraged other Patani Malay Muslims to seek Islamic knowledge in the Haramain. So, as a result, the number of Patani students in Haramain began to increase annually. So, as a conclusion, it can be said that Sheikh Daud al-Fatani played a very big role in serving the Patani community, especially in terms of preparing them for the Hajj. So his contributions towards the Patani community can be seen clearly when he started becoming Hajj volunteer and even after he being appointed as the leader of Sheikh Haji Melayu. He put a very big effort to ensure that all pilgrims can perform their Hajj in the most comfortable and the best way. So that's all from me. Thank you, and I will pass this presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Nur Shahira. I will present about writing methods of Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani in Furu' Al-Masail. As mentioned before, Furu' Al-Masail is one of the works of Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani in his contribution to writing. This work of Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani also give a lot of contribution to the field of Islamic jurisprudence in the Malay world. Firstly, I will introduce you about Furu' al-Masail. Furu' al-Masail was first written in the year 1838 and completed in the year 1841 in Mecca, and it was written in Jawi. This book also discussed variety of topics related to the branches of religious issues. Furu' al-Masail consists of 2 volumes. Among the topics discussed in the first volume are Tawheed or Usuluddin, Fiqh al-Ibadat and Taharat, Zakat, Fasting, Hajj and Umrah, while the second volume discuss about Fiqh Mu'amalat, Fara'id, marriage and other legal subjects. Furu' al-Masail is the book of fatwa with reference to fatwa authored by Sheikh Ramli, Muhammad bin Ahmad bin Hamzah, and also Kashful Lisan and As'ila al-Anam by Hussein bin Ahmad al-Mahalli. And as it is the book of fatwa, the topics in it were discussed in the form of questions and answers. Now we move on to writing methods in Furu' al-Masail. The first method used by Sheikh Daud is the writing techniques. Furu' al-Masail was written without punctuation such as comma, question mark, full stop and so on. So the writing without punctuations is a common technique used in classical book or manuscript written in Jawi. The second technique is the use of brackets in 3 places. Firstly, in the title of the issues discussed. Second, in the beginning of question, such as Su'ila radiyallahu anhu. And lastly, beginning of answer, such as maka dijawabnya. The second method used in Furu' al-Masail is the arrangement of the topics, in which the topics are divided into kitab, bab and fasal. First, kitab refers to the main topic. For example, kitab taharat. Second, bab refers to the subtopic of kitab. Example, bab asbabul hadath, which is the subtopic of kitab taharat. And third, fasal, which refers to the smaller issues in bab. For example, fasal fima yutlaq fi at-tawaf. And it is the smaller issues in bab sifat an-nusuk. However, not all kitab has bab and not all bab has fasal. As an example, kitab al-i'tikaf, kitab al-at'imah and kitab as-sayd wa al-dhabaih do not have bab and fasal in it. The third method used by Sheikh Daud Al-Fatani is the content written in Furu' al-Masail. The first volume include the introduction by the author, and then Tawheed or Usuluddin and Fiqh Ibadah. And among the topics discussed in Fiqh Ibadah are Kitab Al-Taharat, Kitab Al-Salah, Kitab Al-Janaiz, and many other topics related to Ibadah. Although this book discusses about Tawheed, it doesn't make Furu' al-Masail as a book of Usuluddin, because it only discusses a little about Tawheed. And the second volume of Furu' al-Masail consists of legal issues such as fiqh mu'amalat and discuss the topic of offense or serious crime in Kitab al-Jinayah and many other issues and topics related to legal subjects. The next method in Furu' al-Masail is the references used by Sheikh Daud al-Fatani in writing his book. And there are two main sources referred by Sheikh Daud al-Fatani in writing Furu' al-Masail. The first one is Fatawa authored by Sheikh Shamsuddin Muhammad bin Ahmad bin Hamzah al-Ramli. And the second one is Kashful Lisan an As'ila al-Anam by Hussein bin Ahmad al-Mahalli. And his reference to these two books was mentioned in his Muqaddimah or introduction in Furu' al-Masail, and it can be seen in the quotation below. So this quotation is the evidence of his reference to the two scholars in writing Furu' al-Masail. Sheikh Daud al-Fatani not only refers to the scholars from Shafi'i school of Islamic jurisprudence such as Imam al-Nawawi and Imam al-Ghazali, but he also refers to other scholars from other schools of Islamic jurisprudence such as Imam Malik from Mazhab Maliki and Imam Abu Hanifah from Mazhab Hanafi. And the last writing method used in Furu' al-Masail is from the aspect of language. The language used by Sheikh Daud al-Fatani is rather simple and direct to the point. Next, the topics are written in Arabic without being translated into Malay. For example, Kitab al-Taharah, which means purity. And last, the use of Arabic terms and phrases. And the example is shown in the quotation below. The phrases Su'ila radiyallahu anhu and then the term by, lughah and muqabalah. And to conclude, the writing methods used by Sheikh Daud al-Fatani in Furu' al-Masail shows a systematic way of writing and it is more organized, thus it makes it easy to comprehend, especially in discussing the topics related to Islamic jurisprudence, as this topic needs a correct understanding from the readers. That's all from us. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.